Our eye tracking software takes care of seeing what people look at without them having to tell us. It was how we were capturing the attention and how we were getting in the mind of the consumer without really knowing that we were doing it, without really having the data. When somebody is looking at all of the different aspects of your marketing, we can track the peaks and valleys in their arousal, in their attention, based on the biometrics that we're tracking. It's a difference maker. I've been in the lab for months working on the evolution of my business, understanding that the need to understand the consumer is more important now than ever became very, very clear. Marketing messaging is only growing in volume and people's attention is lowering. And so to really capture that attention, we had to really understand what people were paying attention to. And so testing all of the different technologies, hardwares and softwares to really get to the right mix of technology to do that took months and months and months to do. But now we've cracked that code and we have what we need to make the biggest impact for our customers, and we're doing that. When I realized the game was going to change was at a nonprofit board meeting in the back room at a steakhouse, talking with a group of executives and some student leaders from across the country. There was a topic being debated and the young man next to me, John, slides his phone over and it's the answer to what we were talking about. And I was like, what was that? He's like, ChatGPT. That's really what woke me up. I remember going to bed that night and thinking how cool that was, but how much damage that could potentially do to my business long term and really change things for me in the content creation side of the business. So I really wanted to wrap my arms around it quickly and harness the power of it. And the more and more and more that I got into the technology, the more I realized that yes, it was going to do that, but actually the opportunities became much greater for me at the same time. Fast forward, over 2 years later, now we're using all of this for our customers and we're getting deeper insights to feed the AI to give us better outputs. A few months after that eye-opening moment for me, I was at Social Media Marketing World out in San Diego. Fantastic event. To me, the best social media event out there. And I'm at the airport and I'm with a guy that owned a marketing agency and he just looked completely panicked, really just trying to figure things out. And so I started talking to him, almost in tears. He was like, this is going to change everything for me. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is going to kill my company. It's kind of what I was thinking that night when I went to bed. When I first heard about ChatGPT and really started to get my arms around it, I found out that there's a bigger opportunity there, as I've said before. So I am a big fan of Stoicism. And one of my favorite books of all time is The Obstacle is the Way. They use a lot of wartime examples of challenges that armies have had over centuries where they've had to figure things out because they were just not big enough to beat whatever that army is. So they had to use that disadvantage to their advantage and find out different ways to attack. I think business is very much like war. And so I just took the same principles and applied them to business. And so when I saw, hey, I'm not going to beat this thing, the train has left the station. How can I leverage it? Or how can I change my business and adapt to this? Just why I went to, okay, let's say your robots, AI, create all of the content. I want to own the mind and eyeball. If I can do those things and I can understand the consumer, that's something that AI can't do. And so if I can really understand the uniqueness of the individual in the target market, I can give my clients the best advice on how to get their attention, how to keep their attention, and how to convert their attention. Buying eyeballs back in the day was slamming marketing in front of people that didn't know that you existed. Buying eyeballs today is what we're doing, and we're recreating that. We're actually going out and understanding your target market. Literally, you can buy eyeball data. That's what we do. Our eye tracking software takes care of seeing what people look at without them having to tell us. If every marketing person knew how their customers felt about the marketing that they were seeing, that would be eye-opening. Our GSR module actually does that. It collects the data to let them know how they're feeling when they see your video or see your ads or look at your website. To me, that one is the absolute best piece of biometric data that we can give someone. Here's the difference between a click and our biometric data. The click, you can only track when it happens. When somebody is looking at all of the different aspects of your marketing, we can track the peaks and valleys in their arousal, in their attention, based on the biometrics that we're tracking. It's a difference maker. One of the biggest misconceptions is that it's unattainable for, a small to medium-sized business. The way that we've built this business is to make it approachable. We can segment different different studies out and really build something around anyone's marketing program to make it attainable and approachable. The biggest mistake I used to make confidently was that if it looked good, it was going to work. We have created some absolutely stellar campaigns, absolutely beautiful, and they just didn't hit the way that we thought they would hit because I really didn't understand what was going on in the human's mind. Artistically, I loved it. It looked beautiful. It sounded great. It hit all the key points, but it just didn't convert to the degree that I thought it would. And then there would be other things that we would do that we would absolutely crush, and I would be like, why did that happen? And so really what was going on is what was happening in the person's mind. It wasn't what we were doing. It was how we were capturing the attention and how we were getting in the mind of the consumer without really knowing that we were doing it, without really having the data. One of the things that I've noticed traveling to marketing conferences historically is that very rarely are people talking about market research. They're talking about the functionalities of platforms and showcasing the campaigns, but not talking about the why behind them. And so really it's start with why. Show them through the data why these things will work so that they can go and execute. Instead of having to test and measure, go direct right with the data to the customer. The unfair advantage that companies will have working with us is that they're going to be able to get the attention and stand out in front of the customer base and do less testing, taking the guesswork out. The competitive advantage that the customers that use this technology is it takes the guesswork out. It goes direct to the consumer with the things that we've been able to prove that the consumer wants through their biometrics, through their eye tracking, through their emotional responses. We even have a voice analysis tool that if we want to ask them some questions, we can tell by their voice which things they feel most strongly about. And so we can test this from a multitude of angles with multiple modalities, making it absolute. We're seeing a multitude of things change. We're talking about the market research that goes into the work prior to the execution of any campaign, but we're also able to look at it from different angles. So in the restaurant space, we can plug into cameras and see the sentiment of what's actually happening inside of a retail or restaurant establishment just based on the facial expressions. We can use some of our biometric tools to tell us, do people like certain scents when they walk into a convenience store or are in a restaurant, or do they like this perfume or cologne, or do they not, without them having to tell us based on the biometric data being collected. So it really opens up the opportunities for other things, not just the marketing that's happening on a computer, on social media. Our eye tracking glasses actually give us a competitive advantage outside of an office, outside of a phone, where we can see what people look at while they're driving, a billboard as an example, or when they walk into a store, do they look at the point of purchase displays? Do they typically look at 3 different things on a shelf before they pick something up and buy? So it really gives us the ability to stretch our legs and really do some special things for our clients that might have additional needs outside of just reactionary items to marketing. Now I have a question for you. I want to know from you, audience, what are the must-go-to AI and marketing events in 2026? The team and I have just wrapped up some planning, and we want to add some events to the list. So give us a shout and let us know what you think the best events will be in 2026. We were moving so fast to learn and to grow and to execute. I'm actually shocked at how much we were able to accomplish in 2025. It has just been a wild ride. We definitely hit another gear this year. So I'm really curious to see what's the next gear after this one, because I'm ready for it.